break it out.
What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and we have our regular co-host from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel, James, here. What's good, James?
Yo, yo, yo. Hey, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Happy Father's Day to anybody that, has a father, whether if he's active or not active. Just be happy that you have one, because once they're gone, trust me, you'll do anything to get them back. So this day was hard for me, but I'm showing up for my best friend. Like, that's my world right there, so I have to.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And yes, we'll put it on the screen. Happy Father's Day to everybody, whether you're watching this now or later. If you are soon to be dad, happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to the bonus dads, the mom who's playing both roles, the dads playing both roles, and happy Heavenly Father's Day to all of the dads who are no longer with us. It's just good. If you have a parent and you're in good standing with them and they ain't done nothing to play with your money or your livelihood, hey, acknowledge them while they're here, right? But we're gonna get into the valley. I am a little bit late. I am back in school. A new semester just started, so I've been behind because I had to write 4 papers already. However, I have persevered and made it through the end of the week. So I'm here now. I'm gonna do my best with recaps. James is moving and planning things, so just bear with us.
On top of working 6-day weeks, y'all, I am so sorry. It has been a crazy couple of weeks for me with this move, and I'm sorry if y'all hear echo. There's no furniture in my office yet, so I am so sorry, y'all. But yes, y'all, it's been a crazy. I haven't even been on my channel, so tomorrow y'all gonna get a slew of videos with me by myself because Mrs. Best has to work, and I may have to go in early, so y'all may just get a whole bunch of videos at one time. I'm sorry if I have to do it that way, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I work from home too, so you can shoot me a link and I can still join in if you need, because I don't have to go to nobody's office tomorrow. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you,
I'll
Jesus.
be at home bored doing video trainings on how not to sexually harass anybody. So if you feel free to send a link, I will join. It'll be better than them videos. Moving on, you guys. We're going to get into this episode, which last premiered, I believe, on Tuesday. This episode was titled When One Door FORECLOSES. It was season 2, episode 9. I'm sick of Brittany. We start the episode with Kristen and Luke, though. They're having a housewarming party for their rental. In California, that's okay. And when you pay a California rent, you'll understand why. Honestly, if your rent is over $2,000, whether you rent or own it, you can have a housewarming. But they have a housewarming, and the only part I'm commenting on with this is, why was Luke sprinkling Old Bay on already cooked meat kebabs?
I wasn't surprised by that. These are white people,
The colorless really do just throw a sprinkle of seasoning on at the end for color. And it's like, no, I need you to do more. And for some reason, Zach is running around talking about scrotox. I'm not going over that again. Zach is funny. Sometimes I feel like Jack does a little bit too much for a moment on camera, and I wish he would not. And I felt like this was one of those moments because he's likable when he's not doing this type of stuff. But Jasmine and Janet arrive, and the event happening at Kristen and Luke's house, the vibe changes as soon as Jasmine and Janet and Jason arrive. Jasmine is still saying, essentially, she felt ganged up on by Jason and Janet when they confronted her at the beach about what they had an issue with, which I can understand. And she walks up to Janet and Jason and says that she would like to have a conversation with them, with Melissa present. But at the same time, I do kind of agree, because I've been with my husband a very long time, since I was in high school. So, and I've had a lot of the friends I have today since way back then. So I do have to say, when you're with someone, even if you haven't known them that long, but when you're with someone, whether you're dating them, married to them, trust and believe, if you live with that person, especially, they're going to become integrated into your friend groups. But if you are a couple, let's say there's an issue with my husband and another female friend, I'm not going to go with him to confront that person, because they're automatically going to become more defensive. Janet could have had that conversation with Jasmine separately from Jason. And no shade to Jason, y'all, but I'm just going to throw hella shade. something about him is off. He does seem shady. It's very clear that this couple is hiding something. And I don't understand why he has to be so involved in all of the drama, like him specifically. Because a lot of the stuff he comments on or is involved in is stuff that Janet's talking to her girlfriends about and things like that. And I know they're an intermingled friend group, but it's annoying. But how did you feel about that? Do you feel like they need to have a conversation, James?
At first I did. I felt like because they also had a long-standing friendship from what they both have described, that I kind of felt like, okay, I somewhat do agree that they do need to have a conversation. But when I think about what the actual issue is, because mind you, the issue is a rumor going around about how he goes out to clubs and doesn't wear his wedding ring, right? That's the issue. There's the rumor. I feel like they don't need to have a conversation. I feel like it's stupid. I feel like Janet has heard this shit before. I'm not convinced otherwise. And I feel like she just needed a scapegoat.
Yep.
And that's Jasmine. So therefore, I feel like no, they don't need to have a conversation. And if I was Jasmine, I would ignore her. I don't need to have a conversation with you because you know exactly where you heard this rumor from. It wasn't from me. You know you've heard this before. LA is small, everybody know everybody.
Yep.
So come on with that. So at first I thought, yeah, but then when you really think about what it is, no, they don't need to have a conversation. They don't need to have anything.
This is just Janet and Jason trying to have a moment on camera. It's stupid to bring it up again also because bringing it up again just continues to perpetuate this rumor that your husband is running around without his ring, which is basically making people think that it ain't all good. But I'm tired of it. We're going to come back to it, but I am tired of it. And I agree with your point as well. I'm sick of it. Some chick at the party named Jenna claims that she dated Aaron, who's Michelle's current boyfriend. Apparently, there's some sort of time conflict, and Jenna may have been dating Aaron while he was with Michelle. Jesse then confirms that Michelle said a year ago she caught her current boyfriend Aaron with another girl, and now he thinks this girl may have been Jenna. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not gonna waste much time on it. I'm gonna just say this: why the fuck does it matter if they were both still married at the time? It doesn't matter. And now they're divorcing, and this Aaron guy's not with this other girl anymore. So I don't see the problem and the big deal. And I really don't see the point of Michelle and Jesse on this show, but especially Michelle. She's boring. I'm not entertained. If you don't like your baby daddy that much and you get in a divorce, then go away from him. Eventually, one of them have to leave. So how do you feel about that, James?
I feel like these two are wasting camera time because this is so unbelievable and it's so ridiculous. I highly doubt. Okay, this is my thing, you guys. I'm not trying to dismiss her pain or whatever it is she could have potentially went through in this relationship with him. I'm not trying to say that she is milking this, but what I'm saying is you don't have to be this damn dramatic over this shit with him. And sorry for that loud ass bike, y'all. I live on the main street. Sorry, y'all. But it's just she's exhausting. He's exhausting, and I feel like what is like either y'all still love each other and y'all just don't know how to be with each other, or y'all need to get away from each other. It's one of the two. Because I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of them too.
I agree and feel the same way, but once the divorce is final, I want one of them off the show, and I prefer it to be Michelle because at least Jesse is somewhat can bring something for the show. Michelle just kind of exists. She would be like a better friend of. That's just my opinion, but we're going to move it forward to more foolery. So once again, Brittany is at an event. This one is not at her house, and she decides to pull people aside while everyone's in a good mood at Kristen and Luke's housewarming to tell them more about her and Jax's ongoing saga. Apparently Jax made a woman who works at this rehab he's at. I'm gonna say alleged rehab, and I'm using air quotes because I don't believe this man was ever at no rehab. The moment that they filmed his intake call and the way that was going, I was like, ain't no way he's at an actual facility. And they're doing it that way. It doesn't work that way. And usually insurance and finances are figured out before that type of a call. So I don't think he was ever there. I think he was sitting in a hotel waiting on production to feel like Brittany is appeased. Especially the way that they did the visits with the son.
That's exactly what that looks like.
Yes. Especially how when she brought the son to visit and the nanny and all of this was involved, and they crying over money and mortgages, but still paying a nanny. That'd be the first thing to go for me while I
I'm
catch
trying
up
to
on
tell
my
you,
mortgage.
when I tell you, when I was looking, because I was like that too. I'm looking, I said, okay, so y'all talking about this home, y'all talking about foreclosures, y'all talking about all this, but you still got a nanny. Where do y'all work at where y'all that damn busy where y'all need a nanny?
If I thought that my house was being foreclosed on, quiet as it's kept, I wouldn't have gone to the rehab at that time. That's the time you do need to work and save your house. So I think Brittany and Jax are full of it, and birds of a feather flock together. And these people were flocking together for 10 plus years. So Brittany is not innocent, and I'm sick of her. I'm sick of her. She's using this show to complain. Why are you interrupting a happy moment that's celebrating someone else's house to talk about your sad life? We get it. She's not the first woman to go through a divorce. She's not the last. She's got the help from her family. She's got a nanny. She has more help than other women who go through a divorce get. And I'm tired of her trying to act like, oh, woe is me. There are women actually getting hit. There are people in relationships actually feeling like they dated a wolf in sheep's clothing because they don't know who they were with until they get with them. I have friends that have been through that in their relationships. So it's low-key offensive for someone who knew what she was getting by watching him on TV, and he showed it to her before she married him. It's annoying that she keeps doing this because, girl, we watched your love story with Jax. He treated you horribly publicly on camera. So I can imagine it was 20 times worse off camera. So I'm sick of her. But Jax made some girl at the rehab lie to say that he was having a medical emergency. This is another sign that this is not a real rehab, because if an employee that works in any behavioral health center, whether it's a rehab, a residential center, a recovery center in the state of California, where I work in the same type of space that Jax was supposedly at, if an employee does something like that, she would be fired and lose her ability to work in any other facility or that field in the state.
Because that is a HIPAA violation.
That is a HIPAA violation.
So,
And it's
yes.
not just a HIPAA violation. There's all sorts of things that go into it. MPI numbers, she won't be able to get one of that. Then she won't be able to work in hospitals, facilities, none of that. There's no way an employee lied about somebody needing EMS services and having a cardiac episode. I don't understand it, but Britt, I guess, is announcing that she's sick of it. And this was the point in the episode where I was just like, can this girl just get a lawyer and stop telling people about stuff? I mean, James, did you feel any differently?
Do it sound like I felt any different? I felt like, what am I watching? What are you complaining about? I can't just, and this is my problem with her. I get you're trying to make sure you come back another season. I totally get it. I'm not trying to be mad at you at all. But at least if you're going to spill all this drama and trying to get the woe is me and everyone to feel sorry for you, you need to do better than that. Because just the last episode, you was over there gloating about Will Gittins and how you over there dating him and everything. And now we got to hear about this foreclosure and, you know, how Jax is doing this and Jax is doing that and all this. I don't care. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, ma'am, you did this to yourself, like Mrs. Best said. You had all the Google and Yelp reviews in the world, and you still chose to go ahead and try that out. And look at you now. So whatever you getting, hey, that's your
You asked for it.
Yeah.
You asked for it, except you were the one dumb enough to get pregnant and marry him. Sorry. And I still question her as a mother, just off the simple fact that your son has a nanny. Now she's speaking about how her son has autism, but I forgot. Jax has said a lot. Some of what he said has been true with her. And the way she was last season to now, it looked like she'd rather party and act like she's having a good time at times versus be there for her child or actually address the things in her marriage. She was just
you
having
could definitely tell her having the status means more to her than her actual characteristics and being an actual person day to day. She wants to have a status. She wants to have, you know, this, oh, I'm in the valley and I'm this person and I, you know, just clout. And it's so stupid. At the end of the day, women like her scare me in society. They do. Because it's like, so you would rather, instead of just living a day-to-day life and hoping one day, you know, whatever you do gets you some clout and energy, you chose to marry a man on a TV show that had some great, you know, traffic in the world. And now that he's over there, messing up and going through all his stuff, now you want to talk about how that's traumatizing for you. And then you want to talk about the troubles of your children or your child. And then you want to talk about having this man. I am so sick of her. Like, I need her to go. I don't want to see her next season, but I doubt they'll get rid of her though. So yeah.
They think that people like Britney, and honestly, the only people that like Britney, I'm sorry, are white women that are probably from where she's from or in her type of situation, who think that they know it all or are unique and aren't. Like, Britney's just not relatable. She's not likable. The only reason we liked her on the show was because of Jack. She was introduced as a dumb blonde, and no shade, she kind of acts like one. But we go move forward to more that happened at this crazy housewarming. Michelle goes to Lala, who's pregnant, and she's also the home queen of bitterness, I call her. And she's our lovely groomed cast member because she was dating Randall Emmett, who is essentially the white male version of Diddy, Baby Weinstein. Nothing good comes with that. And she don't like him. She acts all disgusted, but Lala just gives scorn. Like, I get that you and Randall didn't work out, but girl, you was dating that man for what he could give you. And then when you got a glimpse of what was really good, now suddenly you want to switch to our side. And Lala needs to stop with the black sense. If you know, you know. I'm sick of it. But Lala's pregnant ass is talking to Michelle. And this is where Michelle is kind of showing a little bit of jealousy. But at the same time, she has real stuff going on. Michelle feels like the group has been supportive of Britney in her divorce, but she feels like she's not getting an equal amount of support in her divorce by being forced to be around her spouse and all these crazy things. But in addition to that, her mother found out that she was sick and found out that she had stage 4 colon cancer while she was at stage 4, which is a really big deal. Colon cancer is also very aggressive. And she states that she believes that her mother may eventually pass away. Once Michelle explained that, I was like, okay, I can understand why you would feel like, damn, the group's giving all of this to Britney, but ignoring me. But at the same time, it's easy to ignore her with this divorce stuff because you still choose to be on a show with him. You're not putting your foot down a month. And then you could tell she enjoys trying to separate people and make them choose between her and Jesse, but no one is choosing her. And then she gets upset. I wish Michelle would just tell the group, like, I have this going on with my mom, or tell people individually, or I wish she'd step away, because I always felt like even in season 1, Michelle's just not that interesting. I don't think she fits the mold for reality TV. But with her mom and stuff, it's like maybe she's this way because of her mom. But no shade to this girl. Even if her mother was in perfect health when we got her years ago, I just wouldn't care to watch her on TV. But I do wish her mom well, because cancer is no joke. And if that's really going on, I do think it would be best for her to take a step away from the show. How do you feel about that, James?
We can move on. My best wishes for your mother, Lala, and my best wishes for all this, but and all this, I'm not really trying to be funny because, cancer is a serious thing. I lost a parent to cancer. I'm very sensitive to the subject. So
I know.
So I really didn't want to kind of touch on this. So we can go ahead and go forward. But best wishes to you. And I hate to hear that kind of news. I don't have I have an opinion of her, but I'm not going to. But this episode made me sensitive to her. So we'll
I think if the group does know, though, that she's going through that, I would lean toward the friend that has that going on over Britney. And I'm not saying that they should ignore Britney, but again,
no, we should. They should.
I think having a sick parent trumps a bitch getting a divorce because a man acted the way he acted when she first got with him, is all I'm saying. But I do respect Michelle for at least not trying to publicly speak about it, but speaking about it in confessionals is cringy. But Janet, her minion, aka Jason, Jasmine and Melissa, they meet to talk in another scene. And I was annoyed with this because Jason starts and he says he was confused. He says, I don't take my ring off. Okay, Jason. Jasmine says that she never told Kristen this rumor, even though camera showed Jasmine confirming that, yes, she told Kristen. She also told Janet and Jason that, yes, she did tell Kristen this. So I'm kind of annoyed with Jasmine for that. And I'm annoyed with her girlfriend, Melissa, for stepping in. I just don't like when the girl talks. I don't see her purpose. I feel like Melissa is a lot of the drama, if that makes sense. And I know people may be like, how can you think that when we barely see her? But Melissa doesn't look thrilled to be around this group. Melissa doesn't look thrilled to be around Jasmine, as quiet as it's kept. And when they explain how they got together, doesn't seem like Melissa's ever been that interested in Jasmine. That's just my personal opinion. But Melissa is always involved in the conversations after some shit is started this season with Jasmine. And I'm feeling like the pillow talk from Melissa is probably like messy as hell. I don't know if you get that vibe, James.
I don't
She
know if I
doesn't say
get.
enough.
Yeah, I don't know if I get that necessarily. I think what I get is that she's being very careful. Because I agree with you. I do think that a lot of the mess like does circle around, and it does seem like it does spew from her. But the problem is, I think she's being careful because you can tell on her demeanor and some of the like the topics. Like there was another time she was on camera. I don't remember what episode it was, but there was another time that she was on camera, and I kind of felt that same energy too. I kind of feel like she lets Jasmine fall on her own sword.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
energy. It doesn't seem like she agrees with Jasmine's side
right.
in a
Yeah.
lot of the situations where she's been brought in. And I wish
Mm-hmm.
that she would just say that, but I feel like if she says that to Jasmine, Jasmine will make it a
But
thing.
it is what it is, though. Like, and that's the thing. And this is what, and this is how I know she, if she really does react that way, that's she's not ready for that kind of relationship. Because at the end of the day, you should want someone that is going to say, hey, when, especially because it was only them. So it was like you would want someone to say, hey, you know you wrong, and you know that you said this rumor, you repeated it. You might not have started it, but you repeated it. So you know you need to make that right, regardless of how you feel. It got out, and all fingers pointed at you. Now, in the grand scheme of things in real life, y'all, like outside of that, I don't think Jasmine should do that. Like this is me myself personally, but I'm just saying for your partner, someone you trust in, and someone knows that you need to maneuver around this group to stay on this show, she needs to tell you something to the extent of protecting your job. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that Jasmine should do any of what I said. I think she should just leave that alone and maneuver to the other side of the group and leave that heifer where she at. But you know, it
I
is
was
what it is.
annoyed that she took back the Karen comment because Janet does give Karen energy, but
I was annoyed
essentially
with
the
that too.
conversation ends with them blaming it on Kristen, which I wish and hope that there is a reunion because I'm tired of this and I can see them doing it. Um, Janet and Jasmine honestly can go and she can take her bitch little husband with her because he behaved like a little bitch. I'm sorry, he just does. I can't see anybody hiring him to get them off in court. But I'm tired of everyone blaming Kristen for everything. This time, if this were Vanderpump Rules, I'd be like, yeah, it probably is Kristen's fault. But on this show, you could tell that Kristen has grown a lot, and I'm sick of it. But we'll move forward. Brittany is at her rental, orders a bunch of fast food, or she's not at her rental, she's at her house. Brittany, that's why you shaped like that. You keep thinking that these plastic surgeons Jax has you friends with is helping you, but now your face looks like you might have some sort of intellectual disability, and you shaped like an upside down traffic cone and or pyramid. And I want better for Brittany because when we first met Brittany, she was beautiful on this show. And then Jax and her for deals because Jax is cheap as hell. Start playing with the plastic surgery. Her breast job is way too big. Her titties is stiff as hell. It's sad because she dresses well and used to have a very pretty face. Like, I wish she didn't touch her face or any of that. And then you see that she's eating like shit, like eating like actual shit, which bothers me. James, this girl had Domino's pizzas. She had McDonald's French fries, had
I
the
saw it.
audacity to dump them into a beautiful dish.
I'm just like, so you couldn't have went to, they got plenty of sandwich places. You could have went to Togo's, you could have went to Quiznos, got you some sandwich platters, and you mean to tell me, just
She
being
could have
cheap.
went
Hold
to
on.
Safeway and ordered some sandwiches, a bucket of chicken. The sad thing is, why spend all that money when you know people ain't gonna eat it? That's the first thing Michelle said. Like, we don't eat like this. Why order all of that trash when y'all are there to work. Why order so much? You need to be saving every coin for your alleged. First, she said it was 8,000. Then she said it was 9,000. Then she said it was 14,000. However much the mortgage is. Why are you buying all this fast food for these people?
It's not only that. Like, why buy fast food in the first place? And when you this old, and it doesn't make sense. Now, the Domino's pizza thing, I've seen that before, so I'm not gonna really gripe
That
hard
would
on
make
that one.
sense if she ordered a bunch of pizzas, but don't add in Taco Bell and McDonald's and
I mean, if that's right, because if that's the case, you could have just made you some tacos on the stove and just called it a day.
no
Like,
wonder when she was on House of Villains, Jax was talking about she had a stroke. Because eating food like that all the time, eating it here and there, sometimes we all do it. Okay. But if the way she said it, child, did you eat like that
it
during your
it
pregnancy,
don't add
Britt?
up.
Yeah,
It
something
don't add
no.
up because that doesn't make any sense to me why she would do this. And then because it's not something people in LA do. Like,
No,
I
not
know
at
people that
all.
will take out a line of credit to get a caterer and be paying that sucker down for 2 years. I've known people to do it. I've worked in LA for like 9 months doing real estate, and even then, like, I know a girl, she maxed out all her credit cards and made sure on open house she had good gourmet sandwiches and stuff for people. So she full of shit.
That's stupid. She could have made it if she cooked. There's a lot she could have done, but the point that everybody there is to help her pack up Jax's items from the house, which is extremely disrespectful. Grow the fuck up, Brittany. If you're gonna go through a divorce, woman the fuck up, get you a lawyer, leave him. Set up a time, since you used production allegedly, since this is air, it came out that you were the reason production made him go to rehab because you was going to refuse to film with him. Well, why don't you use them to help him get out the house? Go to court, get a sheriff escort, do something. But to have all of his friends, she only knows all of these people because of Jax. So to have all of his friends come to y'all house to pack up his stuff, to me, was rude. Maybe a couple of your close friends from this group, but to have all of them in the house celebrating to pack up that man's stuff, no. And I'm not saying that Jax deserves any grace, but that was just a little weird to me. If you're going to leave him, leave. And she says she wants it done so that he doesn't have an excuse to come back. The moment you found out about that damn condo is when you should have been having people pack up or doing it a little bit each day. It's also stupid that she's come back into the house and is now paying rent at an Airbnb and utilities and mortgage at a house that she may lose. Like, it's stupid. Just file for divorce. I'm sick of it. And of course, Michelle feels like she's not supported. And Brittany talk about she's still in love with Jax, which tells us something wrong with her. Do you have anything to add, James, to her house packing?
Yeah, Will Getting, are you watching this? Because I'm sure she felt that way at the time they were filming. She probably feel this way today. So I hope you watching this, because y'all were dating at this time that she confessed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you watching this. I'm just saying, because I actually like him, y'all. When she revealed that she was dating him, because I well, first of all, though he was part of my community, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, I hate when people date black men like that and then do goofy shit like this. And that's what ruins a lot of them, their experiences with people. And then they go into their next relationships having trust issues and shit. That's why I'm looking at her with the side eye. What else happened? Because I wanted to get that off my chest, because you just reminded me that she said that and that pissed me off. Oh, everybody packing up Jax's shit. That is disrespectful as hell, and I hope he sue you.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I hope he sues you. I do. I hope Jax sues you for that, because that's disrespectful. That's that man's house.
She knows too that that's gonna trigger him.
Yeah.
And she keeps crying about, oh, he gets triggered and does this. So why are you not avoiding triggering him?
Right.
And you know this don't trigger him.
Right. Exactly. She out of her mind. And like I said, I hope he sue you. I hope, because that's his house too. You basically are committing a crime, because that's his property.
He can leave it there until his name is off the deed.
Until his name is off of the deed. Exactly. And She's just, as I said, she's not a good person. I don't understand why everybody glorifies her the way that y'all do, because she's
People
weird.
glorify Brittany because on Vanderpump Rules, she came off as sweet. She was not mean. She didn't say nothing. She was sweet. I think the fame and the money has gone to her head, along with the coke that her and Jax was sharing, because there's definitely a change which we expect to see. But I also think to a certain extent, being on television changes anyone. She's not the only one guilty of it, but you don't do that. Like, I thought he loved me and this and that. He didn't pay the mortgage, but that's your responsibility too. You've not been hit. He threw something. And yes, it's scary, but he has not touched your child either. Everything was good when money was coming in and bills were being paid. Now it's not. And looks to me like these people also bought a house they couldn't afford, but she don't want to admit that. So I just have no ounce of empathy for Brittany. I'm sorry, I don't.
No, either.
But
I
she meets.
think what she's doing is ridiculous and stupid. And as I mentioned, I hope when he sees his back, there's a lawsuit filed for a complaint of touching property that is not no one's in the houses that was there that day. And I will subpoena all of them as witnesses to her actions, because she has no right to throw them. There's no judge that told you get rid of his stuff that's in the house.
At least talk to him about it and let him know that your stuff
Right.
will be packed up. She's making stuff worse for herself, but she's not smart. Her mom enables her and has a bad haircut. So what can we do? Brittany does meet with an attorney in another scene, which I was like, finally. So this is where we learned that before this couple got married, Jax owed $1.2 million in back taxes. And because of that, their mortgage went from $8,000 to $17,000 monthly. Let me tell you this, the California State Franchise Tax Board, she would definitely know when getting married that he had that debt in this
I was
state.
just going to say that. You
She
took
would
the words right out of my
She
mouth.
will definitely know. I have been in California my entire life. I got married in California, and at one point, me and my husband owed the tax, the federal taxes, the FTIB here in California. We owed them like $3,600. Well, he did. They made me aware of the debt before it even got to any like point of where they're like, oh, we're going to take a tax return or any of that. Because I always let them take my taxes, y'all. I ain't shit. I ain't gonna lie. Take it. I still have some left. But they make you aware. So it's like the same thing if you're married and you have a apartment and you're leasing, or if you are owning, you're going to know. So Brittany, stop it. But that's the reason that the mortgage went up, which I do believe, because they will tack it on and make you pay. That is common. Yep. But in my opinion, you were dumb to marry him. If
exactly, especially knowing that, because he would have took care of that first, and then we would have got married.
Exactly. And even the attorney looked at her and was like, well, what are you waiting for? Well, I'm surprised you haven't filed for divorce if you're being harassed. And, that's a lot of text messages. But regardless, Brittany has to be accountable for some things, maybe not Jax's actions, but she accepted those actions and she needs to be accountable there. She keeps trying to make it seem like she's innocent and was wrong, but you knew about this stuff. It's impossible for you to have not known. But I just want her to file for divorce, and she says that she's going to file. We'll see. We'll see.
Has she filed in today's time?
I don't actually know. I'm actually going to Google it. Let's see.
I don't think she has. I don't think she's filed for divorce in today's time, because that definitely would have made some Bravo news somewhere.
Let's see. I feel like it did months ago. Yeah, she did in August of 2024.
August, so it'd be just about a year.
Yeah, they're not. It's not finalized, but she did request primary legal and physical custody of their son, and for him to have visitation. I don't think he's that great of a father, so I think that's fair.
I'm not mad at that too much. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's fine. But what is she seeking? Does it say what she's seeking for as far as?
Nope. That's all it said was irreconcilable differences, and the only thing she asked for was sole physical and legal custody of her son. So it looks like
So whatever judge they get, I hope that judge makes them sell that house.
she can't
And
afford it.
yeah.
She can't afford it unless she can work her tail off. But I don't know. I feel like she can afford it. And the one smart thing she may have done is I don't think Jax knows of all her income. And I think her family may be involved in that. But, you know, I don't know. I'm tired of talking about this divorce. And then a year's gone by and y'all ain't moved or done shit. Please. So the group ends up having a night out at Jax's bar to further disrespect and humiliate him. I don't like Jax, but come on, this is too much. His bar, all Britt did was decorate, and he didn't even want to let her decorate. But, you know, I felt like that's adding fuel to the fire to piss him off. They decide to cover up his name of his bar all over the place. Mind you, this isn't really just Jax's bar. He has investors. So the investors invested in him obviously because they want his name. So to cover it up and put Britt's name was dumb. No shade, nobody wants her. So I'm just like, that was a little extra, but everyone came together for her. But Jax did put in work with that bar and didn't seem to want her too attached. She was trying to do last season that it's our bar, girl. No. You could barely keep a job at Hooters when Jax met you. He had to beg Lisa to hire you and you still messed up a bit. You can barely bartend or waitress. And he could barely bartend. So I'm just looking like, okay. But Michelle shows more jealousy, saying that she's going through the same thing and still feels her friends aren't giving her support. Reminds us again that her mother is sick and she has a point. I think with her mom being sick alone, she deserves more support than Brittany. However, you know, when people show you how they are and if they're concerned about you, then that's what it is. If people care, they'll check on you. If they don't, they won't. And I know that sounds harsh, but I think
Yeah, but
sometimes,
no, but it's real. That's real
yeah,
life. Like that's not. I don't think you're saying that just to be mean. I think you're saying that because in reality, I'm gonna
people
tell
don't
you like
show up
this.
for us all the time the way that
Yeah,
we would want or expect or hope that they would. It's just a
hmm
fact. And
I
sometimes you
agree.
gotta see that.
Yeah, and what people have to understand is also people don't know how to really support someone going through that too. That's one of the things I learned in my own situation with my father. A lot of people did not know realistically how to support me because one, I'm always that friend that is always there for everyone else. So when it came for people to be there for me, they didn't know how. No one knew how to really do it. And a lot of the times, you know, and I had a really deep conversation with one of my friends. She told me that she didn't know if just calling to talk to me was enough. She felt like I needed more, but she didn't know how to give more. And by the time she really thought about it, that's when she's like, oh shit, it's been a month that I have not called James and let me call. So I want people to understand what she feels is valid. But
Yeah.
at the same time, what I want her to understand is that you just may have people who may not have gone through that situation. You don't want them to go through that situation, but really are trying to think of what they can do or how they can move to better suit you. And she looks like she requires a lot. I'm sorry, she just does. She looks like
Yeah.
she requires a lot from her friends. And when you add atop a sick parent, that could make a lot of people waste a lot of time thinking, damn, what can I do? Should I take her to brunch? Should I get her out the house? Should we go on a hike? There's a lot of things that people think about. And then since my friend had brought that to my perspective, I'm like, okay, that does make sense. It
Yeah.
does, especially when you don't know how to comfort somebody going through that. Yeah, it can take you time. And by the time you get through what you're going through in life, you forget, oh shoot, I had to try to make something out. So yeah, it's hard. So I want her to go easy on her friends, but once again, she looks like she's just a lot to deal
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that entirely. It's a difficult situation, and a lot of people need to think more sometimes. Oh, people may not know how to react, but I also think it's a far way to learn like who's really in your corner and who's not. Um, but you know, everybody ends up kicking it after doing what they're doing. Um, at this bar for Britt, and this is where Kristen and Janet talk. And Kristen says that Sheena told her that Janet was talking about her negatively, which was true. And we know Sheena gonna tell them. And they roll the camera back and shows Janet was lying, and she did say bad things about Kristen. And I didn't understand why Janet wants to play innocent if Janet really believes that she has an issue with Kristen. But at this point, I'm tired of Janet's games. No one wants to watch someone manipulate and gaslight people season after season, especially for nothing. Especially when it's showing, like, I'm a firm believer in where there's smoke, there's fire. This rumor didn't just come out of nowhere, sir. You had to have taken off your ring, or someone saw you without it for this rumor to exist. And if you took it off in good faith, or even just, casually or something, which some people do with their rings, we would believe you. But the fact that they keep bringing it up lets me know that he's probably done this a few times before, or his wife has questioned him on it. So I'm over it, Janet. I'm over it. But Danny steps in the conversation, and the group immediately starts the drunk Danny stuff again. And Jason said himself that Danny had 2 drinks and a shot. The camera rolled it back and showed him having 2 drinks and a shot. And Janet then says that he's wasted. But let's be for real. Let's be fucking for real. How is this man wasted if he just had a few drinks from what the camera showed? Ain't nobody wasted. But if he truly was wasted, then that tells us, Janet and Jason, who seem to think he's an alcoholic, and Jasmine too, that alcoholics are not usually lightweights. They're not usually drunk off of just a drink or two. So which one is it? Is he an alcoholic or is he a lightweight? Because there's a very big difference. And some people are lightweights to a fact. I am that way. I don't drink like that no more. You give me a shot, I'm telling you, I promise you, I will be good and buzzed. You give me another shot, I'm tipsy at the rim of drunk. You give me a third shot, I'm dancing on top of the bar and getting carried out. Some people are lightweights. And he said himself he doesn't drink all the time. So it's like, while they're trying to insult him, they're also contradicting themselves and exposing their lies. And it pisses me off because they start calling him Dark Drunk Danny in front of him, which was rude. They insult people and expect people to stay calm. And in my opinion, Janet and Jason are truly horrible people. But Janet then says, when Danny gets annoyed, because he gets up and leaves, and I was so glad that Danny did that instead of engaging with her. At least my husband's not the one touching asses. And I'm like, so you're going to bring something back up that he's already apologized for and made peace with Jasmine on, because you're upset that he's not allowing you to make it seem like he's an alcoholic. I don't get that. So Nia and Danny end up leaving the event, and Nia's mad that he engaged with Janet, which I would be mad too. But at the same time, I understood Nia as a wife, because she said though she was mad, he engaged. She was happy because he did need to stand up for himself. And the best thing he could have done was leave instead of arguing with her. But they end up leaving, and Janet's inside still saying he has a drinking problem, calling him a lightweight in the same sentence. And I'm like, do y'all want to be hated on TV? That's a big accusation to put on someone. That's a very big accusation to put on someone. So what I saw is they just make it when they're pushed in a situation where they look like they're not right, or when they have to admit that they're wrong. Like, I don't like these people, James. I just don't.
I don't like them either. And I feel like, to me, that was cold for her to make that correlation like that. And for her to bring up something so heinous, and just, it just feels that she's really not a good person. Like, that just right there. Because it's like, ma'am, you need to be worried about your own husband at this point. You need to be worried about your own situation.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. She needs to go, because I ain't even been watching the show like that. And she was on my nerves. Brittany's on my nerves. What is Jesse's wife's name again?
Michelle.
Michelle is on my nerves. I don't have any problem with Nia, and I don't have any problem with what's the old girl's name in the middle? Kristen. I don't have a problem with her yet. And I'm saying yet because she do rub me wrong a little bit.
Kristen is messy. She's messy on Vanderpump Rules. Kristen's grown up a little bit, but she's messy. But in this show, she hasn't gotten an opportunity to be messy. She's been fucked with by Janet's evil ass. DM Rock said, I love how Kristen has Nia's back. That's me for my friends. Because I would have done the same thing Kristen did. Oh, you want to call my friend an alcoholic? when he's a devoted husband and hardworking father. Bitch, where's your man's wedding ring? I said, okay, Kristen, that's how you get back at somebody, give good TV, and demonstrate loyalty. So, hey, I love Kristen for that, and I'm sure Nia gonna watch this, and they were pregnant at the same time. Janet trying to be hateful just pushed Kristen and Nia probably closer together. Hell, okay. Oh, they both had their babies too. They both had their babies. Danny and Nia just had their baby, like, I believe a week and a half ago. And then a few days ago, Kristen announced that she had her baby. I said, oh, wait. Not only was they pregnant together, defended each other on TV, and the babies got birthdays that's just a week apart. I really hope their friendship stays. But the last thing we see is Jesse talking about how he feels the group taking over Jax's bar is going to trigger Jax, and shows that the group is taking Britt's side. And you know, Jesse talks with Brittany, and she says that she has Jax by his balls and can do more or less. Brittany, you dumb. I wouldn't have said that until after my divorce was finalized. Because your marriage ended, but nothing's happened to you this much to be this damn hateful. You knew what you would get. You got it. Divorce him, be fair, and move on. I feel bad for the man she's dating now. I really do. But you know, what can we do, y'all?
You clearly don't watch this show, so
I want him to start. Can somebody send him some clips?
I will. I'm about to put he on YouTube right now. I'm gonna put it right in his comment section. You need to be watching this.
Right, please, because that's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Anywho, you guys, that is it for this recap of the Valley. We'll be back next week, or this upcoming week. Hell is Sunday. On Wednesday to go over the next episode of the Valley. I did start graduate school. I've been very busy writing constant papers, so I apologize for being late, but we will get these videos out to you. We're going to head into our Real Housewives of Miami recap next, and we'll see you next time, and thank you, James, for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.